Let's be honest, this isn't something that many people talk about. People feel free to discuss anything, but as we age, this is a big deal. We deal with some habits that can be effects on our bodies that we didn't expect. Today's movie focuses on mental health, looking into what really takes place when you carry on doing this behavior that's because this isn't about shame, or it's about gaining a sense of judgment. These habits can negatively impact your mind, body, and overall health. Overall energy. So if you're interested about the effects that aren't as well known, and stay with me to see things in a new way. Until they reduce the amount of masturbation you do, mind, body, emotions, and thoughts. The health and safety of older people are crucial. Carry out this action regularly while people tend to stay away from later on. There were discussions about sexuality. It's important to get rid of the misunderstandings and bust the lies that have long been around the subject. The thought of having fun in old age is not only is it not important or appropriate, not only out of date, but it can also too much shame and isolation. Today, we're going to face these false beliefs head on and look into what a long way from being something to keep secret or stay away from can be a living and helpful force in people's lives of older people who offer both mending and deep emotional. This conversation is a sign of satisfaction, specifically made for adults over 18, especially those who are going through at the end of life and who might be dealing with strong feelings about love and self-care to start. It's important to talk about the kind of masturbation is an act that it transcends age and social norms, cultural taboos all through life. It is possible for masturbation to make me a man's physical pleasure, which may be even more important to offer a lot of mental relief, gives you a safe place you can love yourself and explore without any restrictions of judgment, or people anticipate that as they grow older, the body undergoes various processes. There are numerous changes that could have significant implications. How do they feel about sexual pleasure? Changes in hormones and sensitivity, health problems all play a role, but these changes don't mean that end of desire or closeness. When you're old, masturbation is an important way for people to keep a close relationship with them. Bodies that are telling them they are still deserving of love and pleasure care. One of the most important parts of aging is the normal loss of the amount of testosterone and estrogen can change how sexual desire works, show itself to many as the energy of desire may go down, and the regularity to have sexual urges might lessen, but that doesn't mean a desire completely goes away. It just changes. In nature, older people often find that the sexual experiences they have are increasingly intense. Added more details about self-discovery and satisfying your emotions than the purely physical drive that usually comes with masturbation by teens in this situation. It turns into a private act of self-care, a way to get in touch with yourself and learn more about. You can enjoy yourself on your own terms without any obligations. Stress that might have been there when they were younger, they enjoyed activities like singing or dancing. Worry or social expectations for some people thought about masturbation in the life may seem strange or even not good, especially if they've been or taught to think that's sexual. The only people who can give you pleasure are young people. This is where we must step up. Older people who question social norms. Each person has the right to enjoy and learn about their sexuality. Masturbating can lead to an incredible experience that gives people in later years, it gives a sense of having freedom and power over one's body as a warning that each, regardless of the age, it can still bring joy and pleasure and happiness that this act can help foster. A renewed sense of security that lets people should love their bodies. It's amazing to love someone who has flaws, compassion that goes beyond emotions, and psychic strength that masturbation can provide you with additional benefits. Numerous health benefits linked with regular medicine for self-stimulation in old age. There are studies that show masturbation that helps keep blood healthy. The blood flow in the groin area this is crucial for impoverished individuals as they age. Lack of blood flow can cause tissues to shrink and other unpleasant situations. But being stimulated regularly keeps the blood running is beneficial for genital health in general. Masturbation can help women over 50. Help with genital dryness, a common problem, is caused by changes in hormones. It can be beneficial for individuals going through menopause. Keep the air bowel function by increasing blood flow and stopping the damage to the tissues involved if you watch this movie. Still, and find these tips were helpful. Message me below to let me know. I know you're still with me, but there are many more physical perks than just masturbation cues in the genital area. The release of opioids, they are known as the happiness hormones of the body, which are known for being able to lessen stress hormones, work like painkillers, which is especially helpful for older people who may be living with long-term pain or discomfort. Masturbation releases these hormones when you do it, can give you a natural, drug-free way to take care of pain and improve mental health. Masturbation also has a direct effect on the quality of sleep, something that it becomes increasingly significant as we age. Many older people have trouble sleeping. Problems like having trouble fall asleep or stay asleep through masturbation during the night can aid with both the hard work. When feel-good chemicals are released as a result of the loosening of the getting stronger muscles helps you sleep better. A lot of people think that masturbation is male, natural sleep aid that makes you feel like this can lead to ease of mind and happiness, better night's sleep. The emotional. The good things about masturbation in old age are very important to recognize for many older people, in particular people who are alone or have lost long-term partners who are lonely, and being alone can be really hard. Massage is a way to get back together, with one's body giving not only physical, but also mental. Solace gives people the chance to have fun in a quiet, safe place. Setting that makes you feel at ease and love for themselves for those who may feel not in touch with their bodies because, as people get older, masturbation can help them remember that their bodies are still able to feel happiness and pleasure. Promoting a fresh sense of self-confidence and accepting yourself even more so for those who may feel not sure or uncomfortable about if your sexual urges change, masturbation can help. Be a way to talk about these thoughts, without the stress or blame that can come from a person that gives you a room for individuals can use reflection to better understand what people want and need. As they get older, this can be especially powerful because it helps take down what society expects that only young people find it enjoyable. Older people who are accepting of their sexuality can feel free and freedom from the weight of expectations of other people who said it was important. The fact that masturbation in old age has the same power as any other private act. Make things hard for you emotionally. For some, it might make them think sadness or anger, especially if it helps you remember what you've lost. When it comes to relationships, the limits that come with getting older are: it's important to approach this subject with being sensitive and understanding. Having knowledge that while masturbation can be very helpful, it may also bring up strong feelings that need to be eventually led to masturbation in old age. Keeping in touch with people your age is important. Being yourself is a way to keep going. You should take care of your mind and body. Enjoyment in a loving and safe manner. Instill a sense of self-care in yourself. Important for overall health and happiness, by doing this, people who are older can have. There is physical ease and relief from stress, getting a new feeling of empowerment themselves that they still deserve it, of happiness, pleasure, and connection at any time. At this point in your life, this personal act is not something to hide or be ashamed of, but rather praised as a beautiful act of self-love, independence, and that the human body holds fundamental value. Masturbation in the mental world is a strong tool for self-knowledge that boosts self-esteem and encourage a hopeful view of the body. This is especially important for older people because getting older is often accompanied by a feeling of being in charge of one's body is important. Changes that come with getting older have to do with hormones, senses, or moving around can sometimes lead to becoming disconnected from the body. Thoughts of being alone, and in this case, annoyance with masturbation, turns into a lot more than just an act of pleasure. It turns into a powerful way for people to get back in charge and get in touch with their bodies and remind themselves they can still do with their bodies. Pleasure, strength, and closeness. A deep sense of control can give you It provides older people with a source of mental strength. People are more aware of their surroundings, bodies, and this means that they have sense of self. But like any practice that comes from as a form of joyous masturbation, nuances when treated with care, be a source of physical pleasure and a mix of emotions, but when it becomes too much or all the time, some important. When things come up, it's important to know that masturbation is like any other. Pleasurable activities can lead to, in order to become physically dependent on the over-putting pressure on genital nerves through a lot of cell activity can lead to hypersensitivity, which could lead to pain that goes away quickly or a drop-in. Feelings while this event is happening temporary, it can lead to dependence. Depend on stronger input to get the same amount of happiness. In the end, it leads to feelings of being angry or anxiety. This circle is looking for more. Stimulation can hurt, otherwise good things about masturbation. Taking something that should be fun and an experience of mending into a source of worry, but consider the more serious effects. Too much pleasure and getting old. Besides the physical, it also looks at the emotions and mental realms where compulsion often has its roots in mind. That's something I've seen for many masturbation by older people can become a way to deal with your feelings. Who is having tough thoughts like, as we deal with loneliness, anxiety, or sadness? Age. It's normal to come across these feelings, especially if they are social, or a well-known love ship starts to weaken or important life events occur. Changes like losing a partner or getting worse health at this time. Masturbation might give you a short break, offering short-term relief from stress. However, pain becomes the main focus, or only source of comfort. It can lead to, instead, adopt the risky habit of being alone, instead of looking for emotional help. Having a friend or participating in important social interactions, the person retreats into yourself and making an even bigger a sense of being cut off from the world. These feelings of being alone are around them, especially sneaky because it tends to. The habit deteriorates with increased usage. Masturbation serves as an escape from negative emotions. The more alone someone feels, the more alone someone is, the more one masturbation for solace. This cycle can be very bad for you. Effects on mental health, making feelings of loneliness, worse feeling down, and it serves as a warning that while masturbation can be beneficial for you, you shouldn't use it for its psychological benefits. As an alternative to real people, whether it's a physical or mental link, people are naturally outgoing and keeping. Whether they're with family, friends, or love partners are very important. For your mental health, especially as study after study shows that as we age in terms of the effects of either too much masturbating in old age from an only professional. From this point of view, masturbation is often seen as dangerous because a beneficial way to talk about. However, sexuality is like any other habit when overuse can lead to unintended consequences. What happened? Studies have shown that people over 65 who do compulsive people who masturbate may experience both. Being mentally and physically tired, which can change the overall amount of energy they have. Excitement for daily tasks. This is especially worrying because keeping up a busy lifestyle as you age is getting more and more important for bodily health. By doing too many masturbation can take away from others. Very important things like physical activity that is important for keeping your cardiovascular mobility health and general well-being in old age. Without regularly moving around, older people are more likely to get it, of having their muscles break down stiff joints and even heart problems. All of these problems can lead to more rapid decrease in health as well. Whenever masturbation comes before other things that matter, like hobbies that bring people together, or even you can become more aware by doing things like a drop in life happiness leading to not caring about or being interested in the dear world. If you're still here, show and learn something from it. What do you think? Please tell me below. I'm glad you're still here. Besides being physically tired, the mental. The cost of masturbating too much should not be undervalued. Too much indulgence in any action, especially one that is close to our emotions and sense of self, are connected to laws, because masturbation can cause in the form of mental burnout instead of feeling refreshed and calm. And a person may feel emotionally worn out or separated, And this is extremely true of many people now masturbate as a way of avoiding more serious mental problems over time. The avoidance can make those lingering feelings that lead to more major psychological suffering, including depression and worry, as the keys to keep your relationship healthy. While pleasure and old age are still in balance, when looked at as part of a bigger picture, plan for your physical and mental well-being. It can be very bad for your health. Helpful because it can boost self-esteem goes up when you know things. A healthy way to deal with stress and emotional stress. But it's important to stay being aware of the possible problems that too much, as with any, exercise moderation, and being aware of yourself are important. Masturbation should go along with living a full life is not a replacement for older people. Adults who stay busy and in shape, including lifestyle, is very important. Active activities and care hobbies, and getting to know people. Having strong feelings can help stop the danger. For being emotionally or physically dependent on, it's also important to master. Have talks that are open and honest. Things that are emotional and mental parts of getting older, especially when it comes to feelings of loneliness. And by addressing these deeper issues, we can achieve separation. People can face their mental needs head on. Make a more well-rounded plan for I am ensuring their general health and safety. Masturbation is still a beneficial thing to do. A good thing in their lives instead of there is a method to address unsolved problems. An important thing to think about when going out and masturbating when you're old is not acceptable. How can it change relationships? Having relationships, especially with people who are still together romantically, while it's true that a lot of older people, masturbation is a coping mechanism for loneliness, ways for them to meet their physical needs. People who are partners can see the dynamics. Is more complicated when it comes to self-pleasure. From my own experience, I've seen situations where masturbating is too much. By accident takes the place of the search of, they shared a private moment with their partner. This results in both mental and physical health issues. Keeping this space can make feelings of being alone in the somewhere where one partner may feel disregard or disconnect from the other. When self-stimulation turns into, instead of substituting a close relationship, could weaken the bond that comes from shared experiences of being close. And during these times, love is finding a balance is crucial. Allows both people to explore and satisfy their physical needs without putting at risk the closeness they share. In small amounts, masturbation can be sexually healthy at the same time. Bond, but when it starts to replace those times when you shared. Affection, it could lead to fights, and despite the emotional stress that exists between, it is crucial to ensure that both partners are involved. Everyone feels wanted and valued. Being a masturbator should never be a problem. To close touch, but rather add to it and let both partners to keep a sense of unity, whether physical, mental, emotional, or emotional on a mental and physical level, masturbation can sometimes cause. Having feelings of guilt or shame between older people who grew up in places where being sexual was either being looked down upon or seen as evil. Give these bad feelings some thought. Having sexual relations can get deeply rooted, causing an emotional conflict between the normal need to have fun and the moral problems that come with it. Many elderly individuals have shared their experiences. Tell me how they feel trapped and there is a tug of war in the emotions, happiness and ease of self-stimulation, but right away, after experiencing a surge of sorrow and remorse, blaming yourself. These feelings of turmoil can be especially bad for mental health. Health that makes you feel of worry, sadness, and even low. When this happens, self-worth turns into important to understand that sexuality, even in old age, is a normal, good thing to do. There should be some beneficial things in life. There's no shame in being sexual. Once, whether it's through masturbation or it's important to share closeness. Question the stories that society tells us that has taught us for a long time that sexuality gets less intense or inappropriate for adults over 65. They deserve to feel sexual pleasure without having to deal with guilt or shame. But if masturbation is used as an emotional escape instead of a real one, talking to someone or feeling deeply linked, you might need to think about the problems at their core and think about looking for other types of. This could include giving emotional help, I am seeing a doctor and getting back in touch. Having fun with family or friends is important. Ties that make you feel good friendship and help needed to fight a feeling of. Another important point to talk about is separation. Has been worried for a long time about whether, if there are any long-term health risks linked to Master On when he was old. A lot of false beliefs and myths have passed around over the years, often causing. There is no need for fear and worry. For example, some people think that masturbation could hurt the sexual parts, accelerate the aging process. Things like prostate cancer or other very sexual malfunctions. Luckily, there aren't any medical or scientific proof to support these claims about the effects of masturbation. Not harm them in a lasting way, body or make you sick in any way. If you're still here, please read the terms and conditions. Show and learn something from it. Please leave 3 comments below to let me know. Please know that you are still with me. That being said, like any activity, when there are no rules, moderation is crucial. Long-term health risks linked with excessive masturbation can lead to short-term physical tiredness or having less sexual satisfaction over time, too much masturbation may lead to in making perception tighter or making the pelvic area less sensitive. That might make it harder to get the same amount of comfort or pleasure. This is especially important. When masturbation happens a lot and habitual making a loop where more, it takes stimulation to get there. The same amount of happiness in these. Sometimes you need to take a step back and think about whether this action is having an effect on one's health or quality of life from a bigger perspective. From my point of view, I've masturbated in old age. Is not only something that comes naturally, but it can also prove to be very helpful it's good for your mental and physical health. A big part in keeping the flow of blood and the flexibility of genital cells that can help stop the pain is getting worse over time. When it comes to feelings, masturbation can be an important way to deal with stress. Stress, worry, or mental tension. Self-stimulation, which is active, releases endorphins, which are sometimes called hormones that make you feel good and can cheer you up, reduce stress, and help people relax. This is very important for older people. People, many of whom experience raised amounts of anxiety or sadness because of being alone. They are worried about big changes in their lives. Balance is important in every part of life, important and pleasure can offer. There are numerous health benefits for both parties. We should not allow our emotions to interfere with our actions. An all-consuming task that takes away from other parts of your life, if it starts to get in the way of daily activities, it could hurt your relationships or your health. It might be time to look at its role in. It's also worth looking into one's own life. There are various methods to manage both physical and mental health issues. Happiness, whether through hobbies, physical activity, or making friends. In the end, what's most important is that anyone of any age can engage in masturbation. When you think about balance, would be a great way to keep learning and have fun with their sexuality, whether pleasure in bed, by yourself, or with a partner, is very personal and important. Experience that can help with a sense of finding happiness and satisfaction is crucial. Ensure that it complements your overall look. Being happy with their life instead of becoming a source of stress or a way to cope with feelings. Masturbation is okay to do in moderation. It is an important and healthy part of life at any age. As we've seen, masturbating as an elderly person is no longer acceptable. Natural and good habits that can be offered many perks for your body and mind. Even though it needs balance and awareness to make sure it improves instead, than makes your overall. For your health, it's important to out-of-date ideas about sexuality. Love yourself without guilt and find peace between having fun and being close. Right now, I'd love to hear from, what did you learn from this? Talk about one thing you plan to do. Use them in your daily life in the notes below. Let's keep the talk going and help each other. On this trip of find yourself if you like this video. Please write your feedback below. Don't forget to follow, like, and share. Check out our YouTube feed for more videos like this.